Why Yuji Itadori is the only one who can end Ryomen Sukuna is not a theory born from favoritism. It is a truth woven quietly into Jujutsu Kaisen from the very first chapter. Because Sukuna, the king of curses, does not fear power. He does not fear sorcerers, techniques, or even death itself. What Sukuna fears, what he has never been forced to confront, is a human who can cage him without losing themselves. And that human is Yuji Itadori. From the moment Yuji swallowed Sukuna's finger, Jujutsu Kaisen stopped being a story about exercising curses. It became a story about coexistence, resistance, and what it means to carry evil without becoming it. And by the end of this video, it should be clear why no amount of raw strength, no Gojo-level technique, and no ancient sorcerer can truly finish Sukuna the way Yuji can. At first glance, Yuji doesn't seem special enough for this role. He isn't from a famous clan. He didn't awaken a legendary cursed technique. He doesn't dominate the battlefield through overwhelming talent. But that is exactly why he matters. Jujutsu Kaisen is not a power fantasy. It is a story about curses born from human emotion, and the only way to defeat a curse is not always through strength, but through understanding its origin and denying it purpose. Before we go any further, a quick warning. From this point onward, we will be discussing manga spoilers. If you are anime only, this is your chance to step away. Sukuna represents the purest form of selfish existence. In the Heian era, he was not merely a curse, but a calamity that embodied dominance, pleasure, and cruelty. Sukuna does not fight for ideals. He does not seek balance. He exists to prove that power justifies everything. To him, humans are tools, toys, or disposable vessels. That worldview is critical because it explains why Sukuna cannot be defeated by someone who plays the same game. Gojo Satoru, for all his godlike strength, is still a sorcerer who operates within the system of power. His limitless technique, six eyes, and domain expansion place him at the top of the hierarchy Sukuna understands. That is why Sukuna respects Gojo, and that is precisely why Gojo could never truly end him. Sukuna thrives on challenge. He grows sharper against overwhelming force. Power validates his existence. Yuji, on the other hand, invalidates Sukuna entirely. One of the most overlooked details in Jujutsu Kaisen is that Yuji is not simply a vessel, he is a cage. Sukuna himself acknowledges this early on. Yuji's body does not submit, it does not erode, it does not slowly become Sukuna's. Yuji actively suppresses him. This is unprecedented in the history of Jujutsu. Previous vessels were consumed, Yuji contains. This resistance is not just physical, it is psychological and spiritual. Yuji's sense of self does not fracture under Sukuna's presence. In fact, it strengthens. Every massacre Sukuna commits through Yuji's body deepens Yuji's resolve rather than breaking him. Shibuya was supposed to destroy Yuji. Instead, it forged him into the one person who truly understands the weight of Sukuna's sins. That understanding matters more than power. Jujutsu Kaisen repeatedly tells us that curses are born from human emotion. Fear, hatred, regret, despair. Sukuna is the ultimate curse because he is born from humanity's darkest impulses. But Yuji is the perfect counter because he embodies the opposite response to suffering. When Yuji kills, it is never for pleasure. It is never for pride. It is always because he believes someone has to carry the burden of ending curses so others do not have to. This ideology is what separates Yuji from every other sorcerer. Nanami fought to reduce suffering. Megumi fights to save people selectively. Gojo fights because he can. Yuji fights because he must. He believes that every death he causes adds weight to his soul, and instead of rejecting that weight, he accepts it. Sukuna cannot comprehend this mindset. To Sukuna, pain is meaningless unless it entertains him. Yuji gives pain meaning, and that robs Sukuna of his narrative dominance. As the manga progresses, we begin to see another crucial factor. Yuji's body is evolving. His physical strength, durability, and cursed energy control begin to mirror something unnatural. This is where the story hints at Yuji's true origin. Kenjaku did not create Yuji by accident. Yuji was engineered to be a vessel that could contain Sukuna without losing autonomy. This leads into one of the most compelling theories grounded in canon evidence. Yuji is designed to surpass Sukuna not by overpowering him, but by erasing the need for him to exist. Yuji's growth does not resemble traditional sorcerer progression. He does not unlock flashy techniques. Instead, his combat becomes brutally efficient. His black flash frequency increases. His cursed energy control sharpens. He adapts mid-battle at an alarming rate. Yuji's body learns. And what it learns is how to survive Sukuna. There is also the symbolic element of Yuji's hands. Yuji kills with his own hands. He does not rely on inherited techniques or external tools. Sukuna, meanwhile, relies on stolen bodies, borrowed techniques, and ancient advantages. Yuji's fists represent accountability. Sukuna's slashes represent detachment. One accepts consequence, the other avoids it. When Sukuna takes Megumi's body, this contrast becomes even more important. Sukuna believes that by abandoning Yuji, he has freed himself from his only weakness. But in doing so, Sukuna exposes his greatest flaw. He needs hosts. He needs structures. He needs something to dominate. Yuji does not. Yuji's power lies in his refusal to dominate anyone. Even when he could impose his will, he doesn't. That restraint is lethal to Sukuna, because Sukuna's existence depends on others submitting to fear, hatred, or despair. Yuji does not submit. He grieves, he suffers, but he moves forward. Another overlooked detail is Yuji's relationship with death. Yuji is not afraid of dying. From the beginning, he accepts that his life has an expiration date. This completely undermines Sukuna's leverage. Sukuna cannot threaten Yuji with death. He cannot tempt him with survival. Yuji has already made peace with the cost of stopping him. This leads to the most important realization. Sukuna cannot be killed in the traditional sense. As a curse, he will always find a way back as long as the fear and hatred that created him persist. But Yuji does not seek to kill Sukuna. He seeks to end him. Ending Sukuna means denying him relevance, denying him fear, denying him the narrative of dominance. Yuji's existence proves that humanity can acknowledge evil without becoming it. That is something Sukuna cannot survive. Looking ahead, the future implications are clear. Yuji's final confrontation with Sukuna will not be about raw power. It will be about containment, sacrifice, and choice. Yuji may not deliver the final blow in the way we expect. Instead, he may choose to seal Sukuna permanently within himself, or erase him through a binding vow that costs Yuji his own existence. And that is the cruel irony. Sukuna, who values only himself, will be ended by someone who values everyone else more than himself. Yuji Itadori is not the strongest character in Jujutsu Kaisen. He was never meant to be. He is the necessary character, the one created to bear the weight no one else could. The one who understands Sukuna, not as a monster to overpower, but as a curse that must be carried to the grave. So when the story finally ends, and Sukuna is no more, it won't be because someone was stronger. It will be because someone was willing to endure what no one else could, and that is why Yuji is the only one who can end Sukuna.